and I think Bharti has a lot more to tell, particularly involving the stories that he has told me, particularly involving Coburn, then his friend Nande Lavala.
Coburn, as I said, was my boss, and when I came back to work under him, he had sacked the previous SD, who's still around, Alvis. Anyway, so then, and why he sacked him was, Shep had been an SD earlier. He was transferred. He obviously had a cushy time there, and Coburn told me why he sacked him. He said, with Coburn, you have to work 7 days a week, unless there was no work on a Sunday, and that's understood. Saturday afternoon was just another working day, and he told me that one Saturday afternoon, he must have got information. We had a rubber factory, and there's a small sort of a lake there by the factory, and he got information that, he told me that he got information that Alvis on Saturday afternoon, without going down the fields, was rowing. He had a boat. He used to do rowing. So he went and caught him. Next day he was sacked. So sacked means he was sent back from wherever he came. There's another English, this was amusing, chap, English planter who came out, not a planter, creeper. I remember his name, Clive Deverall. His father was in India. From what I gathered, he was one of the agency houses. He had been sent here. He didn't last. He lasted only 2 days. But I will tell you, he told me that he was not going to make a career of planting in Sri Lanka. He wanted to work for 2-3 years, and then going back to India and probably getting into agency house or whatever. Anyway, what happened to him was, he came and I met him for a few hours. He was staying with the boss, Coburn, and I realized that this guy was not going to last long because he was beautifully dressed, those, what they call those serge things, silk shirt, very expensive pair of things. Now with Coburn, all that was useless. You see, if you're a SD, you are just, you have to be full dirt and mud all over the place. Anyway, and I got talking to him. Anyway, I met him only one day. Actually, I was going on leave. So 2 days later, when I came back, Coburn called me and said, I have fired Deverall, Clive. So I said, so what happened? Good planting. And he said, you saw him, bloody dressed, and so I said, so anyway, what really happened? He had taken Deverall from the field, and there had been a weed, weed that was above the tea bush. He had told Deverall, take that out, pull that out. He said, sir, you saw it first, you pull it out. He said, sir, what happened after that? I gave him lunch, put him in the car, and sent him to Colombo. I never saw him after that.
That was the time when a senior manager had total authority, basically.
Yeah, they could
the
do.
Power of saying either you have a job or you don't have a job. That's the era that is long past, really.
Then I'll give one other experience which I had with my VA, whom you knew, Aubrey Tissera. Aubrey was also a very difficult man as a VA, good planter, but he couldn't communicate, and he thought the superintendent was like his SD. Anyway, so he came and did, with us of Stafford, he came and did a visit, and things didn't do very well. For a start, he said he's coming at 8:30, turned up at 9:30. He lived close by, he couldn't have. So anyway, he got down from his car and opened he had a Morris Traveller, opened the door, and he heard a dog. So I was quite surprised to be coming with a dog. Anyway, the dog jumped out, and my dog attacked his dog, and there was a tremendous fight. So we sorted that out. Then he said, you have lunch for me? I said, yeah, you will. He said, can you give some lunch to my dog? I said, I can't. You didn't tell me that I can't give. Oh, well. Anyway, I said, okay, I said, I'll tell the chap whatever there is to give the chap. And then he went off, and uh, there was certain correspondence and whatnot. Then things were getting a little out of hand, the correspondent. And I was called down to Colombo and asked what all it's about. So I said, look, I didn't want to come to this estate. You all transferred me because there were some problems. I came from Nouri. I said, please send me back to Nouri. I had no problems with my VA. It was John Brody. And he said, okay, and we'll talk to the proprietor, was Esufalian. I forgot about it. A few days later, I get a letter from the agent saying that Mr. Obrit Isra will no longer be your VA. So he was sacked, and he never forgave me for that. And he used to meet him at the club, and he ignored me completely. But then later on, we sort of got over it.
No, Obrit Isra himself was a very fine planter who had an excellent estate. He was for many years on Lallemont, but he was also an extremely idiosyncratic person. You know. And as a visiting agent, he felt that he had the kind of authority over the managers that could only be exercised by a manager or his assistants. So that was one of the issues with Aubrey. But otherwise, he was a very fine
good planter.
You have told me some very interesting stories with Nanda Ellavala, some of which can be shared in public, perhaps not all of them.
Yeah. See, as I said, we were young STs who started life together, and he was on the adjoining estate, and we had a clique of young STs who used to meet of an evening, and see, Nanda had a way of doing things. He would have been he planted, I think, about 5 or 6 years. He was a good planter. He would have gone very far. Fortunately, unfortunately, he got involved in politics and he died and all that. Very unorthodox way of doing things. Or not, he
was sort of feudal in his approach. No?
Yes. I mean, they were these old people from that area. So I'm talking long ago, 58, 59, 60. The villagers looked up to him, and he could do almost anything. And for one thing he did was, that reminds me, background is not, anyway, he, those days goats were not allowed on the estate because we had Glyceria trees, you must be knowing. These chaps used to cut the branches for the goats. So, and that was a big problem. And they were banned.
Particularly in the low country.
Low country. I mean, now it's not enforced at all. For those days, ban means ban. Any fellow who bought a goat, actually they could bring a goat with our permission, and there were certain restrictions and all that. But anyway, when Nanda went to this new division on this estate, the previous ST was very lax. I remember that chap, he was fired by Finlays. Anyway, they were doing all this, and he had told the labor, look, I'll give you 1 month to get rid of the goats. After that, there'll be trouble. I didn't take him seriously. So what he did was, which he told us later, he was very good with the villagers. He got the whole lot of villagers one night to come and slaughter all the goats on the estate. On his division, they were just and of course they went to the police. The workers went to the police and made an entry, and the OIC came the next day. The OIC and Nanda and all were good friends. So anyway, that chap had to do his duty, no? So Nanda said, the fellow came and he sat there and asked what. Nanda said, I don't know anything about it. You are not accused anyway. So I told the workers say, the villagers, you go and get rid. So whilst was a conversation, I said, Nanda, I'll go to, I'm feeling thirsty, I want to get a bottle of iced water, and you open the fridge. When a goat's head fell out of the fridge. So In the meantime, he had asked, we had put mutton feast for so many days before. So I asked, what did the fellow do? He didn't say anything. He just put the head back and went on. Everybody knew Ken Murray, and you talk about Ken Murray, people can write books on him. I was at one time his visiting agent, both on Nayabadda and Aputale. So it's an interesting visiting agent. Ken is the type with a lot of experience behind him. So he got on with whatever what he is to. Being Ken Murray, he tries not fast ones. To give you an example, we were doing a field round, actually nothing directly to do with Ken, and with the assistant superintendent and Ken and myself. So I got off the vehicle and we walked into the tea, and there were quite a lot of weeds, you know what I mean, it's not uncommon, these things happen. So as Ken having a problem with weeds in this field, he turned on to the ST. We said, ST was Anura. And I said, anyway, what is field number? He said, field number 8. So he said, Anura, didn't I tell you to weed this field? No, sir, there are a lot more weeds in field number 10. You told me to weed that field first. So silence after that. Then I asked him, where is field number 10? I actually just started visiting that yesterday night, and he showed me a field. I think it's on the next estate. So I said, Ken, that looks very far off. He said, yes, it's long. I said, we'll go, doesn't matter. But fortunately, after I started pelting rain, I was not going to get typical Malay shot. When he was on Haputale, briefly, in the Uwa season, I know whether he'll you would explain about MS.
I'm sure David knows, former tea buyer and tea taster.
You were a tea buyer.
About MS.
You know about MS, and the enhancers spoiled. And anyway, all companies said, banned, you can't do it. And I was visiting Agrapatnas, I think, at that time. And they sent a very strong letter to the superintendent, just copied to me as VA. If you get caught, you're in trouble, not only you, particularly the staff. The staff was us. So anyway, I was doing this visit. So we are on our way to the factory. I asked Ken, I hope you're not putting MS. I said, mad. I'm not putting a... What about... I've told the buggers, if there's anything, I'll sack them. So went and into the teas were all poured out. So I took the first cup and took it. I nearly died, full of bloody MS. So I thought you there no MS. So he turned around to the factory. So he says, Ramsamy, I wrote you and I told you that not to put MS. Yes, sir, but you said to put a little because the VA was coming. I don't know what happened after that. I, of course, put that in my report. Ever had a club, I know with you, many years ago. It's not there now. Somewhere near Pupuras. I can't remember the thing, but somehow we went there. I was staying with somebody or another, and he said, come, I'll take you to the club. It must have been about the early 60s. And the little clubhouse. And there was a bar, and next to the bar there's a small room. It's a very low ceiling. Ceiling must have been about 6.5 feet. And when I looked up that road, you see footprints on the ceiling. So I asked this chap what it was. And it was sort of fading away. The name and the date were there. The tradition there was, say you were working in that area and you were retiring or you're going on transfer, you were taken there and sit there and your footprint. Amazing, no?
A little different to that Hollywood Walk of Fame.